Hey guys, Rapidroo here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have a PVT for you. So spawning in the top position here on Neosilpha 3.0 is Jumper. He's playing under his Smurf name Artosis' Toss. Funny one. And he is playing in the sort of bottom right position here against a Terran player called So. So as I mentioned before, this is on Neosilpha 3.0. This game was played in 2022. The replay came to me from So on one of the Starcraft Discords. So is a member of NAS, which is the North American squad, a clan of Broodwar players. He's in the B team. He's an up-and-coming Terran player, has improved massively over the last little while, works very, very hard at his game. And I think one of the ways he does this is he plays against really, really strong players. So Jumper is an S-rank Protoss player. I don't know if he's famous or infamous for the fact that he won, I think it's 25 Bitcoins in a Starcraft tournament. Probably before Bitcoins were worth anything or as well known of a concept as what they are right now. But yeah, he's famous for that. He streams a lot on Twitch, and he's a very, very good player. He's also a coach in the CBL. I was lucky enough to get some coaching from him, and just an all-round contributor to the community and a very, very solid player. So on the other hand is a B rank Terran player. I think he's knocking on the door of A rank though quite regularly, and I don't think it'll be too long before he's there, but is most certainly the underdog in today's game. Okay, so no scouts at this stage from either player, so just going with our barracks and standard start here with gas from the Terran side, and our gateway and getting up our assimilator on the Protoss side. So Neosilpha 3.0, a really, really nice map for drops and recalls because of these huge positions at the back that you can fly over to for your shuttles and for your arbiters. So you tend to see arbiter plays a lot in this or on this map. I've also cast games quite recently where you see carriers used on this map. So certainly almost all weapons available to the Protoss arsenal in terms of attack choices. I see Jumper is going to push out the early Zealot just to keep So honest. It looks like So is building up for a factory expansion anyway, so he's likely probably to pop out a Vulture and be able to deal with the Zealot without too much of an issue. So So is last scouted his opponent, and I don't think that our friend Jumper has actually sent out a scout at all. So his plan is maybe just to go scout with his Zealot and just to optimize his mining. So he started range, so it's a 1 gate range build thus far. It'll be interesting to see how many goons he does expansion, whether it's on 1 or 2. He's sending out a Zealot now to, and he doesn't know where So is, so I think he's guessing that it's this position. He's of course wrong. We know exactly where he is. We have 4 Marines and SCV, possibly going to build a bunker there. He's just going to do a Vulture expand, so he's not going to pop on the shop yet. I think he's going to get this command center going first on location, and bam, there it goes. And from now he'll probably pop on that machine shop and progress with his build from there after this first Vulture pops. Is he going to do another Vulture, or is he going to go to shop? Okay, so he's going to get the depot going first, and there goes the shop. Alright, so from here we'll probably see it going into some tank production, and he'll set up for a pretty safe expand. So Jumper behind this has taken his Nexus, so pretty even, pretty standard play from both players. No real drama at this stage. Here comes a goon and a Zealot to put on some pressure. Sees the Marines there, sees, oh okay, so your bunker's not done yet, but you need to back away. You're taking a lot of shots in the face. So he does. Range doesn't finish it either, so he can't really pressure with goons too much as of yet. He's going to try and take down this SCV that's building the bunker. Not that that matters now. Bunker's up, and I don't think he's going to be able to do much here, so he's probably just going to keep these positions, these units in position for scouting intel, and just wait for a better opportunity. So it's like, screw that. I move my units forward, I back my micro with my Vulture. You go away. Go away! I don't want you at my front door. You go back to your house. I'll stay at mine. The goon's gonna go down, although Jumper pulls him back just in time. But he's chasing the Zealot. The Zealot's really, really slow, and this bike is really, really fast. Jeez, like Vultures do insane damage. He loses both units. Really nice aggressive play from So. His SCV's just having a sleep. Sending out his Vulture to do some scouting, maybe lay mines. I didn't see his first. There it is. His first research out of his shop is mines. So to lay some mines is really going to slow Jumper down. He's not going to be able to move out onto the map, and that's going to be good for scouting information. He's going to try and track Jumper's expansion pattern, whether it's going to be here or here, and he's also going to be able to basically block any move outs at any pressure while he's establishing and getting his 2 bases saturated. So a very, very good start for So. It shows in the production. He's 38 versus 30, and you should never be ahead as Terran in the first 6 minutes of a PvT. So the beginning of this game certainly has gone very, very well for So. He's played this very nicely. Both players, you can see, played pretty high APM, nearly 300 for So, and Jumper ranges between 220 and about 250. So this is pretty high level StarCraft here for you to enjoy. Okay, so Observatory coming up. He picks off an SCV there for free. I think this is probably just a pylon to complete this little wall, so it's a pretty narrow path for it to come out, which is good. Only on the 1 gas at this stage, so basically 3 gate obs. It looks like, if I had to guess, that Jumper's going to transition into an arbiter build, but it's a little bit early to say for sure. Still 1 factory at this stage from So, putting a few turrets in place. Obviously he wants to be ahead of any shuttle drops or any funny shenanigans, and it's always good to have a turret close to your factories to make it a little bit more difficult for the Protoss to see with his observers what your expansion plan is. So Jumper's like, okay, well, my observers are out on the map, so I'm quite comfortable to take my 3rd, and he's going to take it here at the mineral only. Probably a safe option. Can be a little bit of a nuisance to protect, although he's changed his mind, it looks like. Interestingly, he's going to go here instead. No, he goes back, drops the Nexus, so hasn't taken this position. So you can see So's laid mines to have a very good idea of the expansion pattern from his Protoss opponent, and so he knows exactly where he is and isn't expanded to at this stage. Timing on the expansion 630 is pretty good, so Jumper's kept track with that quite nicely, and we're on 2 bases, still just the 1 factory, the 2nd factory coming up at this stage. I don't see an academy, I don't see an armory. There's the armory. Okay, so the armory was prioritized, so he's kept the factory count low to try and get his upgrades going. So probably going to be a 3 base build based on the timings at this stage. Only the 1 siege tank here, so Jumper I think has found himself a little bit of a gap. Here comes 2 more tanks, but they're a little bit late to the party, although he's pretty committed here now. He's going to lose every goon. It's going to be very hard for him to pull back. That goon's going to go down. He sacrificed about 7 or 8 goons in. I think he got a tank and a bunker. I don't think that was a very good trade from Jumper at all. I think So came out the better side of that one for sure. Meanwhile, some vultures have come in here and basically started picking on this base. I don't know what, if anything, Jumper has to get through here. I think he's walled himself in, which I think he did because he was afraid after he lost all of his goons that a vulture counter was going to give him shit. But now these vultures have had a good time taking all the shields off this Nexus. But I expect now these goons should probably come and tidy them up, although I don't see them moving forward at this stage. Okay, so he has his observer in play, he can count the factories, can see the starports, so he can know immediately with the academy coming up and this number of starports, it's going to be a 3rd from So. I think he's getting in position to take it quite soon. And so he doesn't really need to worry about an imminent move out from the Terran, but he's got to get his macro up and running because he's taken some bad trades and he's behind economically. And if his Terran opponent gets the 3rd base up, he's going to be even further behind. And there it is. So almost as I'm saying it, So he's geared up to take his 3rd. It looks like he's going to build it on location. Please build it. Make me look smart. Starting his 2nd armory just before he builds. And there we go. Okay, so it's a double armory, 3 base build from Terran. This is terrifying to play against if you Protoss. If you can't squish this with a timing attack at about 12 minutes, then Terran is just really, really scary powerful. And then you need to rely on tech like storms, arbiters, and approaches like that as Protoss. Otherwise, you can just not take the mechanical units head on. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier in the intro about this map, arbiters and drops are very prominent, so scouting with floating buildings is a good way of anticipating, knowing when this is going to happen. And on this side, obviously because he's chosen this expansion, he will have good vision on anything that would come into this mineral line, although dropping in this mineral line is quite tricky. There's not a lot of spots here to do it. So double armories, I like So's build a lot, I like his position in this game a lot. Jumper's scouting though is on the money. He knows it's a 3 base build, so he can start to gear up to take a 4th of his own, and that's what he's going to do. His pro production is actually now overtaken So's, and I think that's probably where So is a tiny bit behind in terms of his ability to produce 3 workers at a time, which of course he doesn't have because he's only got the 2 command centers currently. Jumper's going to keep going with his macro because it's 4 bases. You could probably get a scary number of gates out, and then it's going to be building up to a nice big fight. So Templar tech's coming in. This is an Arbiter build, and this map, like I said before, is perfect for that. I'm looking for a Forge. I don't see one from Jumper. I would expect him to have a Forge relatively soon because he's going to have to at least try and get some sort of upgrade parity so that he's not facing 2-1 or 2-2 or 3-2 mech with maybe 1-0 or 1-1 ground. He's going to have to at least try and get, even though his upgrades don't scale as well, he's going to need some upgrades. And as you can see, these are 0-0 units. No Forge inside as of yet. He's prioritizing getting the 4th up, which does make some sense. Here comes the Forge now, as I say it. So he's not reading my mind. He's not listening to me live as I'm saying this. But of course, it's very important that you have your upgrades as Protoss when you're going to face an upgrade-centric approach that you are seeing from your Terran today. Oops, I do not want to exit the replay. Okay, sorry, just I pushed the wrong button. I got myself in a bit of a tiz. Anyway, we're carrying on. Okay, so he's got a couple of units out on the map. Just to not, I don't think the plan is to engage, but just to have an early warning of what to expect. I like this pylon wall. This is a bit of a nuisance, this base, because you've got to wall it in from 2 angles. I think now that his Forge is up and running and he's starting his first upgrade, he could probably build 1 or 2 cannons. I remember when Jumper coached me, he said always make sure you have at least 1 cannon in all of your expansions when you're active on the map, and he's going to, I suppose, lead by example here pretty soon. First Arbiter's on its way out as well. That's going to be key to hold any attacks. I think obviously when the Tribunal comes up, the goal is to of course get stasis first and then recall. So there we go. Coach leading by example. Expansion there, and a cannon there, and a cannon there, and a cannon there. Absolutely perfect. Just practicing what he preaches. Lovely. Okay, so here is the Observer chilling, going, Jesus, this is a fierce number of factories. So this is very scary to play against. This is Mech Man Maniac, upgrade centric. Let's go. I think so is building up for a move out, and you can see that this game hasn't gone glitch free for Jumper. I think usually at his level he'd be backing himself to be max supply at this stage, and he's just not. He's just still quite a way off from that. That being said, at least he has his Arbiter tech out, and at least he is basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basing Protoss, which is a scary proposition no matter who you are. Okay, so still just on the single Forge. Doesn't look like he's going to go into double Forge at this stage. He's prioritizing getting Storm. So I think he's going to go with a High Templar Arbiter ground-based strategy. He seems to be engaging here, which I would not do. I think that was probably just a skirmish. He backs the hell out of there, and well done, because this is just absolutely terrifying. I think Jumper's strategy here has to be to let Terran come to try and kill him, and then either counter or just cast enough spells to level the playing field and trade effectively, and then eventually starve him out, contain him to just the 3 bases, because if So gets a 4th base up, then I don't think Jumper has got a chance of winning this game. I like this though. The other main is always the huge contention on this map, which is why I've always felt that if the game goes a little bit longer, it favors Terran slightly. It favors Protoss slightly, because taking this 4th of this extra base or this extra main is a little bit easier perhaps for Protoss to do than it is for Terran. It's a little easier to hold as well. So once you get that other main, you really do move into a strong position. So Jumper said, hell, let's go. He's got his Arbiter here. He's not throwing down a stasis of any kind. He's kind of just relying on Cloak. To be honest, So is hugely Vulture heavy here. Just Vultures galore. And they're having a lot of fun against these Zealots. Now the tanks arrive and all of their Zealot friends are dead. He's going to have to back up to the high ground position here. It's 160 versus 136, but it feels like So has just got so many units. Bang! All of those tanks go off, but nothing's protecting them here. The Vultures are out of position. They're behind the tanks instead of in front, so his Zealots are getting on top of them. That was an interesting trade, but I think Jumper came out of the other side of it okay. He's got 2 Vultures, a Observer escorting him, and it looks like he's actually managed to set this base up. Got the 3 cannons here, and could potentially take this natural as well. And if he is going to win this game, it's going to be on econ power and just the ability to stand the test of time against these mech units. How's the upgrades looking now? 2-1 is finished. Let's have a look. We're not starting 3-2 as of yet. We're looking at the production tab. It's not done. I don't know if that's a slip from So. He has the money, he probably has the gas. With all of the micro that he's busy doing now, he's probably also a couple of workers light. Could potentially be on about 60 SCVs. I think he's building a couple now. Maybe he's listening to me, who knows. But he's got to get that upgrade started again. That's his critical. I think he's struggling for gas. Perhaps that's the other reason why he hasn't started it. So he's got this base up and running. He's got that refinery building. And I think that's the other reason why he added to the SCV count, is just to resaturate everything. But he's got to get these armories spinning. Here they both are, and none of them are spinning. And I think this is a little bit of a slip from our Terran player. He needs to, if he's going to play this upgrade-centric style and scale against the Terran, against the Protoss, I beg your pardon, he's got to continuously pump those upgrades. So Jumper's production power is strong. He's building 11 zealots at a time. He's adding 4 more gateways, another Stargate, so he can go double arbiter. And he's keeping his upgrades flowing as well, so he's going to end up now going up to +2, and +2 attack versus 2-1 mech isn't too bad. So please, let's get this arbiter spin. Okay, so he's got one armory spinning again. He's got to get the other one going. I think it's a matter of money at this stage. And here comes Arnold the arbiter. What is he going to do? Where is he going? Where is he going? He's been hit by a shit ton of turrets, and he's just stopped. And now he's going to try and do a recall here. Is he going to get it off? Is he going to get it off? Yes, he gets the recall off. It's just zealots though. They're kind of like, oh shit, we got recalled. What are we supposed to do? Okay, so a good couple of SCVs go down. It's being reinforced here by vultures. Vultures are the units who want, but none of them seem to want to go up the bloody ramp. It doesn't really matter too much, although he's lost probably more SCVs here than he ideally had to. Jumper's got 72 workers and is behind on supply. I think very, very vulnerable to a counter-attack here. If So smells blood here correctly, this is going to be good. I missed the stasis, which I think is probably a little bit disruptive and probably a stalling tactic more than anything else. But where does So go with this army now, knowing that he invested a lot in that recall? Is he going to try and take out this bustling new home away from home that Jumper has established? Or is he going to try and storm one of these bases that's relatively unprotected, if I'm honest? Okay, so we just zoom out a little bit to see what's moving forward. Okay, so seems to be wanting to move into the middle of the map to take map control. This is a seriously deep line of tanks. Very, very difficult to break. And Jumper sees, okay, I'm going to go this way. Another base from Terran coming up here. This is really good. It's very, very close to this other main of the Protoss, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Meanwhile, we're engaging here. Vultures are in the front. Tanks are in the bank nicely. A couple of High Templars, but they're not really throwing off any storms. This is going to get some penetration here. Jumper's really being backed up into a corner, and as Protoss, you don't want to back up to a corner because you can't flank, you can't engage. You come in a conga line, and you basically just get wrecked. This High Templar must not have energy because he's kind of just walking around here watching. And moving forward again here, but I think this is going to be a storm on the natural that potentially breaks. There's a lot of SCVs here, a lot of workers, I beg your pardon, a lot of probes, and he's continuing to move forward. He's rallying his units forward as well. Got mines to block any counters, and he's got good vision of that too. Our Terran is playing a really, really strong game here. This is a good stasis though, buying him some time. Only 4 tanks firing. 1 Vulture's going to buffer, which isn't really going to help much. And now suddenly what was looking like a really strong position looks like Jumper's going to be able to wrestle his way out. That's a nice storm. Got a nice cluster of the tanks there. That was pretty good. And the tank count is now getting pretty low. And Jumper is just able to reinforce from so many bloody gateways. He has more on the other side of the map as well that he could call on if he needed to. But it looks like he's going to be able to break what was looking like a little bit of a contain. I suppose he does have a bit of a headache now. Does he go after these 4 or does he surround these stasis units? He chooses to go after them. So is microing them back a little bit. But the arbiter's a pain because it's going to require constant scanning, which is really difficult to do from a micro perspective. But it looks like the units have unfrozen and there's just not enough Protoss here. So Vultures could potentially move into the main and wreck some SCV probes. I keep calling them SCVs. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Nice storm though, so he does pick up a few Vultures, laying some mines. Maybe just to try and protect this position or make it more difficult for the Zealots to get on top of the tanks. He storms that tank. That tank's now pretty low. Only a few HP left. Oh, that Zealot is not long for this world. Neither is that tank. This game is insane. So many non-stop battles. Just going in, pushing in. Incredible multi. Another storm. It looks like he's just got bottomless storms at this stage. High Templar goes down. He makes an Archon. Fair move when they run out of energy. The carriers here are just worth their, the arbiters here are just worth their weight in gold, making it so hard for So to break this position. And a really good scrap here from both players. Archon is ready. Dragoons coming through. So some of those units that I was saying could come down from here to reinforce and help. I think the use the Jumper's chosen for them is to try and take down the sneaky base. So he's going to have to pull away with his units, and he's probably going to lose his command center because the distance to travel is far. He does have some vultures here to intercept these zealots who will get shredded up in seconds. Will he save this command center? I think he probably will. He comes up the ramp now to clean up the remaining zealots. The Arbiters do come in. I don't know if they're going to do anything else and provide some cloak and potentially come back to the safety of these cannons. So he re-establishes this base. He doesn't need to repair it. He probably will. And that position, at least and for the time being, is safe. I think that was a really good demonstration of how powerful a home away from home can be. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gate production with the 3 cannons in front. And having this constantly producing behind those fights gave Jumper the mechanism to do a counter on one of his bases, which does slow So down quite a lot. Jumper pokes in there, but that is pretty much all of So's units at this stage. It's 145 for our Protoss, 150 for our Terran, 62 workers to 59. This game is probably still, I'd say, in Terran's favor, but it is going to come down to base counts at the end of the day. He does send his voltage across to check, does Jumper have this base? This is just really going to be critical, is containing the Protoss and avoiding the Protoss expanding and becoming too powerful from a macro point of view, and also continuously keeping up with the required base counts. I think So's opportunity to expand here is important. Going to need to be able to take another gas to keep his factories going and to get his tank count back to what I think it needs to be for him to be able to finish this game off. And I am going to take a breath, because I have not done so for what feels like forever. Okay, so some more units coming down here. They don't have Arbiters babysitting them. They don't really have anything babysitting them. Where is he planning to send these? I think this is a storming. He wants to push this position in the event that So has looked to expand here, but he hasn't. Let's have a look at where his observers are. He's got one here, one here. Looks like Jumper only has one observer on the entire map. Is that possible? I did say to him when I was going to make him a t-shirt that said, "Where is my observer?" Because he seems to always lose them. It's not that hard to lose your observer if you only have one. You should make more observers, man. Come on. Got quite a limited vision on the map. Not going to be able to scout too many move-outs. Alright, so our friend Terran So is maxed out. Jumper is about to max out. And we are about to have a big fight. With our one very lonely observer. And Jumper is now double upgrading. And so he is on 2-0. What is our mech on? Really? 3-1. Okay, so 3-1 soon to become 3-2. This is a very, very, very strong mechanical army. I think at a certain point, you as Protoss, you can't engage with this unless you have splash spells. So his options for splash and spells are quite obvious. He does have Arbiters, and he does have 2 High Templars, not with his main army at this stage, but I think he's probably going to need that. Still, he's got a second observer! Yay! Ollie has joined the fray! Welcome, Ollie, we missed you. Alright, so, where is he going to go? Did I miss this recall? I did. I'm an idiot. So he recalls in and storms the shit out of those SCVs. That was a huge blow. He had about 60 SCVs before that recall. He's now down to 45. That was a really nice move. So all the posturing, all the patience from Jumper, he was building up for that recall. It's very, very difficult to block. So that was nicely done. Apologies to the viewers that I missed it before it happened. But we fully understand the consequences of what has happened here. That is a really, really, really nice move and pushes him into a strong position. I think this has triggered So to go, okay, well, you did throw a few units into a recall, so I'm going to try and break this base of yours because you're sending a lot of reinforcing units from here, and it is very costly to me. But if I can break this base, take it for myself, and take this natural, then I end up winning. He hasn't tidied this up. It is a single Dragoon and a Zealot. I'm sure he has the units available somewhere. Come on, man. Send some vultures. Send something. Break it. Oh, the stasis on the ramp, you. That is such a Protoss thing to do. Beautifully done by Jumper. Still, these guys are in here wrecking this refinery. Not sending any units to tie this up as of yet. I'm keep an eye on these arbiters to see if his plan is to do another recall or how he wants to try and storm. Meanwhile, when these unfreeze, he's going to move in here. There are a few units that are frozen. This game is frenetic. There's a lot of activity going on at this stage. Ollie, no! You were my only observer. Now you're dead. Okay, so Jumper's moving in here. It does have Arnold the observer, who's also pretty low HP. Please keep an eye on Arnold this time. Don't let him die. A lot of mines really slowing Jumper down here. So has anticipated this attack quite nicely and has basically repositioned his entire army to take this engagement. And so I think that hurt the High Templar die. I don't think he got any trades there. He goes to 160 versus 180. You can see how quickly he can remax there by just popping out a few rounds of macro. So on the other side is now slowly but surely put himself in position here to take this base down. He doesn't have any Volters buffering for him though. That is a brutal storm on 2 tanks, which is going to take them down to next to no hit points. And Jumper is holding this base really, really well. There's not a lot of value for all these trades. But so it's like, okay, but the front door is wide open. A lot of storms were used. I've got vessels. I'm going for this. You didn't really break anything here with this attack. I held that without a problem. I want to kill this base. I need to kill this base. To win this game as Terran, I've got to break through here. So he takes down that High Templar. He's only up against cannons. A couple of siege tanks will sort those out without any issues. But these vultures are probably so strong now and have enough numbers that they could probably do the business themselves. Jumper has to send reinforcements from his main to deal with this because he's going to lose this, and this is quite critical for him. Not just the mining base, but also this position in terms of being able to reinforce from another location other than his main. We haven't had any other recalls or any other attacks. Once again, this base is trying to be re-established, but he's kept that pesky goon there, keeping his units in place here to try and storm another stasis to slow so down. But I think he's going to just keep on pressing this position until he breaks through. More units coming through here now to defend a storm on this base, which has basically been raided again by goons and zealots and High Templars. He did lose a fair number of workers there again, probably about 10, but he does send the remaining army from his main rally point to tidy this up, and he's still pressing this position. Yeah, all of the tanks have come out of freeze. There's only 2 goons left here. I think So's going to do it. He's going to break through this base, and this is absolutely clutch. He's going to go down here now to tidy up these units so that he can re-land the command center, unless he lost it. Did he lose it? Oh, that's sad. Okay, so he's going to have to rebuild that command center, but it's not going to matter. This base is gone, and Jumper now is going, oh, well, can I counter? So at his main, where all his production, he's got about 4 tanks and a clump of vultures, and that's it. The mine's there, though. He doesn't have enough observers. I must say, if I can criticize Coach, I'm sorry, but you have not had enough observers with your army in today's game, and there you took casualties for nothing. You just had an observer with that group. The Dragoons could have picked it off without a problem. So, not enough observers is the one thing I would say. So we're tidying this up. Couple of units here, not going to be able to do much. He has frozen with a arbiter, but he is re-establishing the base. 145 plays 157. This has been one of the more action-packed, entertaining PvPs I got to play. Thank you again, sir. I forgot to cast a big button. Thank you again, sir, for sending me the replay. I really appreciate it. It has been an absolute juicy one. There are more zealots just wrecking units for free. Come on, where's the observer? Alright, so here we go. We're going in here. A nice EMP. I don't know who hit the EMP on. Probably one of the High Templars, but that doesn't really matter. Lots of juicy storms. This is a deep tank line though, and there's just not a lot of Protoss here. There's a nice storms. It's 3-2 mech though, and the tank line runs pretty deep. He's going to run out of storms quite soon, although he still has 3 High Templars left. He's really used Storm pretty well here, I must be honest. I've been really impressed with that facet of his game. But this base is now taken. 3 tanks versus 3 Dragoons. I think the tank come out on top. He hasn't been able to re-establish this base. He can't re-establish this base. He doesn't have a lot of saturation, so he's got a few bases. But this is mined out. This is mined out. So he's got 1 base with hardly any probes at it. And that's it. So he's got 52 probes, but there's no work for them. They're all mining here. There's probably 7 here. All the rest are here. He's got 40 probes saturating this position. This is really inefficient. You can see it. He's got no money. So on the other hand, could establish a base here. could establish a base here. At the moment, this base has been disrupted again. He Storm drops the crap out of it and he loses a lot of SCVs, which hurts. Storms another group of SCVs, which is brutal. So what's his mining position? He is on one mining base and this base. So if he can get some SCVs going here, he's probably in a better position because at least that's healthy. Whereas this base for Protoss is okay. So this is coming up, but I think if So breaks this down, then he wins. That's really the clutch play, is the main newest source of income of both players. Whoever kills the other one of that wins this game. And he's going for it here. I think this is him gearing up. Jumper knows how critical this base is. It's hard to protect because you've got to kind of do it from two angles, which sucks. So how is he going to approach this? Oh my god, he's sending everything. He's sending everything. There's no way Jumper holds this base. If he loses this base, he loses this game. This is his oxygen, the only mechanism by which he's reinforcing. Yes, So only has 113 supply, but these are scary, scary 3-3 tanks that are included in the supply. I think he might try and drop a High Templar to storm the tanks here. That is really well done. I don't know how many more storms he has, so he needs a lot more. He drops a second High Templar, more storms, but this is still just too much Terran. He went down from 140 to 110 in no time at all. The Nexus smokes, the Terran, the probes are gone, and I think that is going to be it. Where does Jumper re-establish income? This is it. He's got these tiny little patches, and that's got no other money. Terran's still okay mining here and happily mining here. He doesn't have endless amounts of High Templars that can come in. And is that 19 Archons? Where are 19 Archons coming from? Oh my god, 19 Archons! Well, now we know it's on. We've got Archons galore here, guys. I don't think they had enough time to charge up some storms, but he's moving in with all of these Archons to take a final huge fight. He's positioning his tanks here to engage. I don't know how well these Archons will do. There's still a couple. They obviously don't have enough energy because their storms would be pretty useful as well. This is 77 versus 91, but he seems to be holding on. This base is still going strong. He's moving in an Arbiter to fight against a turret. That's not a good match. He's officially out of money. He's got 1,000 minerals left, so he could build a Nexus, but I don't think it's going to matter. 87 plays 63. We're just about even on army supplies because of the worker deficit. Here comes some more vultures. Here comes some more tanks. So he's still able to build. Yes, he's mining slowly. He's building 2 Goliaths, a vulture, and a vessel. And long distance mining even. Just whatever he can do to keep ticking over income. This is what you call a macro PvT, where we have to long distance mine to survive. But it looks like our Terran has got this base established, and he's managed to hold on to it. He sent in a few tanks here. Yes, this Arbiter froze one of them. It doesn't really matter. He doesn't have anything on the ground to kill the tanks, and that's kind of really the key here. I don't think he's going to be able to get through. He's got himself an Arbiter. Where is it flying to? They're both flying in here, but they don't have any spells left to cast, or they don't have any units to recall. What does he have? He has a main with no units at all. Probes, Arbiters. Our Protoss friend is I think going to have to GG on this one soon. Yes, he's trying to re-establish this Nexus. This is really the key. If you can somehow re-establish it and hold on to it. But I just don't think he can. I think So goes across here just to make sure. And maybe he's going to try and re-establish this base for himself. And I mean, I think he's already got this game, but that would just be the absolute nail in the coffin. Jumper GG. So takes down an S-rank Protoss player. Well done, mate. Thank you for sending me this replay. I'm Rabbit Roo, a variety Brood War cast. I'm here on a regular basis. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed this game. Until next time, ciao for now.